Hello and welcome to another episode of Cuckoos First Flight, a rather ambitious podcast in which we attempt to write, play and develop an entire new RPG system from scratch.
Woo!
So, hello and welcome back from the Big Punch team.
Here we all are.
Yes. It's been a little while, for us at least, since we last played this game.
This is officially like session 2
For us.
Yeah.
It's still season 1. I mean, it's still in the same storyline,
Yeah.
but we did like the first batch in one big epic session during a heat wave a few weeks ago. We've had a little time to ruminate on it all, think about how things went and what we might change and improve, and now we're gathering once again to actually make it happen.
It's actually just the first time in 6 weeks we've all been in the house at the same time.
Pretty much.
Pretty-
And I will remind you all, it is actually my birthday. So
happy birthday,
you'll have to be
John.
super nice to me and I get to re-roll everything.
You're the DM, that's awful.
Every advantage is mine, basically, is what I'm
We're
saying.
so screwed.
As anyone who's been listening to the series will know, last episode was kind of like an intermission. We talked about some of our thoughts at this point. And I guess now, before we dive back in and do a little recap about where we were and what we're going to be picking up from, are there any changes we're going to be implementing? Because this is an organic process. And Lucy?
Well, my first idea is I want to make the way you were using strategy actually like codified in the rules. Strategy now sort of signifies how well your character reacts to an unexpected situation. So in order to decide turn order and decide on who gets to react to an event that happens first, we will roll as strategy. So if your character has higher strategy, you're more likely to be able to react first, which kind of makes sense. We also talked about changing the name of intelligence. I think deduction came up on the list of possibilities, and I think that's possibly the closest one we've come up with so far as to what that actually means.
Yeah, that was the only thing that kind of leapt out at me, and it was because we had intelligence and knowledge, and it was kind of like defining between the two, and so now knowledge is what you physically what you know, what you've learnt, what you've experienced, and maybe instead of intelligence, it becomes deduction,
What
aka
you can work out.
like mental agility, like how quickly can you solve problems, can you think of things on the spot.
And the last thing I thought of was the idea that you had of having retaliation attacks if a defense is higher than an attack.
Yes.
And this is something we've discussed. And we feel like there needs to be, and this is where, please jump in guys, there needs to be a limit to that. Like you don't want to be able to have a retaliatory attack if you only get 1 point over the attack. That just means you defended it well.
3?
Yeah, it's like...
3's quite a big
But will it
Or
not
should it
a
be
sliding
proportional
scale?
of this is what we haven't quite figured out yet.
Could
Maybe
it be that the difference in defense, so be it 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, allows you to roll that many die and potentially rebound a bit of attack back onto that attacker?
I guess the thing I kind of screwed up on really was, because the idea is you attack with a stat, you defend with a stat, and if the attack is higher than the defense, then the attack goes through. And in my head, when we were playing, it's like when someone successfully defended with a higher number, my brain was like, oh, they got a higher number than the attack.
Yeah.
That means they should get a retaliation attack. But then I was like, but that's every defense. Like if you defend anything, of course the defense will be higher than the attack.
Yeah.
So if we did do that and it were just like you defend with a 4 but the attack was a 3, that's a successful defense, but that would mean you'd automatically get 1 attack back, like as default.
Which I don't
like
think is
Yeah.
right.
you need like almost like a base state where you
it
defended,
needs to be like a critical...
but that's it. You
win.
don't get.
It's perhaps just up to the dungeon master to just say, that was really good, you get
Yeah.
a bonus roll and you get to decide how many die that we roll.
And maybe as we play, a natural kind of level will present itself.
Yeah.
When it's particularly dramatic, you know.
I mean, I must admit, I'm choking on my own rage, but I must admit, I was kind of just being a bit more creative when I could. Like, I think when we got to the big fight scene, I was like, well, we don't have concrete rules at the moment for how this might.
Basically, there were
pan
2
out.
rules for combat. They
Yes.
were, you know, making an attack and making a defense. So it's very simple and very open, and that's the point. You know, I wanted rules light, and I wanted it to be flexible and be able to change a lot. So yeah, I don't know if you two have any thoughts to add in to that as well.
One thing that occurred to me was obviously my character's personal, like as a human being, power is very low because I didn't put points into that.
Yeah.
But she has the ability to be very strong with wish powers.
Yes, yeah.
I just wonder whether there is need to codify that a little bit, because if, let's say I was a big muscular character and therefore was the muscle of the team, because I am the muscle of the team, but not by virtue of my physical shape, I would have a really high strength, and it would be very easy therefore for me to know how many dice to roll, because I would be strong.
Yeah.
But because I'm not strong, if you ask me to do a power check as I currently stand, that would just be 2. But if I have summoned strength from the lamp,
Yeah.
then and I guess the issue here is that I may not have summoned strength like that, because you can do it in so many ways. So I could have summoned swords,
Yeah.
I could have summoned arms, I could have summoned legs. You know,
I think
it's tricky.
Yeah, and certainly with something like the lamps and the wishes, where practically anything is possible.
Yeah.
I guess within storytelling reason. I mean, like, well, case in point, like Lucy and Ali, you both have a weapon. And I think the thing we said with the weapons was that like it would give you a plus. I mean, your
laser
so
pistols
my
plus
laser
1.
pistol's +1.
And my spear is +2.
I mean, could we say that if you used a short burst of something, it gives you a +5?
I just
Or
wonder
it has a
whether
5 damage effect.
if you imagine how D&D would do it with like putting a manual together, they would inevitably lock down the number of forms that you could generate.
Yeah.
So for example, if you're a level 2 lamp user, you can create 5 different things. One of them is swords, one of them is arms, one of them, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then there would be a codified table for each of those forms.
Yeah.
Well, here's an idea. With the way that I wrote the character creation, the maximum stat anyone can ever have in one point is 13. So if you considered that a maximum, if you use 13 dice at any point to do anything, that's burning your wish out instantly.
It's an interesting idea.
And, you know, anything under that is you perhaps
That's a really
have
interesting
a
idea.
bit of...
What if I have a dice reserve for each wish, and then I can choose? So if I want to do a really big attack, I do roll them all. But if I want to use, 3 dice strong attack,
Yeah.
that's a really interesting idea.
So, hang on. Is it the 13 dice across the 3 wishes?
No,
or
across
is it...
one wish.
Yeah.
So why would you not always just go maximum?
Because
Because
once
it
I've
would
run
burn
out of
out
wishes,
immediately,
that's it.
yeah.
True. Right, okay, I see what you mean.
And in an
yeah.
adventure where we currently are, where we've, as just to reiterate, we've fallen down a hole. I'm disconnected now from the future legend. Getting another lamp, I've got one with
But if
me.
it's 13 die per wish, why would you not just always use 13 if you're going to use a wish? Whereas if it was 13
I guess it depends.
across the 3...
It depends on the situation. It's like, do you want your wish to be, I've got swords for this combat that involves 6 people? You don't want to expend all 13 dice on one of those people.
No.
I think.
I don't know. Maybe it's just an idea. It was like I was thinking
Well,
if you needed
it's
something
interesting.
within
But
the rules.
I mean, but one of the nice situations we had was that like you summoned gauntlets.
Yeah.
Like you summoned big
These
gauntlets.
big arms, yeah.
And then like I didn't want it to be a case where you punch someone, that's a wish.
No,
It's
of
over.
course, because they're here, they're with
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
So I kind of thought of it. It's like you have used your wish to make gauntlets, and then I was thinking, okay, so now you have gauntlets. If we ignore the fact it came from a wish,
what is their strength?
I was like, yeah, you might as well be wearing 2 mechanical gauntlets. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so maybe they give you a plus X to whatever.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think this is where if we had a manual, it would say that.
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
it? If you
yeah.
summon gauntlets, it would give you a +5 to combat.
Maybe,
with.
yeah, maybe that's how many die you use is directly inversely proportional to how long it lasts. So if you wanted to use a 13 die or 13 strength wish, it lasts once, like it's a boom. Whereas if you use like a 2 or a 5 or something,
It
it lasts
might
maybe
last.
half an hour or...
Yeah, I guess what it could be. Let's say I summon a sword. John could go, well, that is an attack power of +3 to your strength, and then you as a DM decide when it powers down, basically.
Yeah, and it requires a bit more flexibility from
Fluidity.
everyone involved.
It does, yeah.
Now, the thing I'm thinking about is, and spoilers, but I've been, have some NPCs, who will be featuring in the story. And you talk about, we have the 8 stats.
Yeah.
And we have 20 points to divide among
Yes.
them when building a character. So if the minimum is you have to have 1 in each one, then as you said, you could completely...
The maximum is 13.
Yeah, so you could min-max a character and have them be as powerful as conceivably possible in 1 stat.
But
And then
utterly
1 in
feeble in
But
everything
useless
else.
in everything
Yeah.
else. But then I was like, I guess the problem is, and I guess we won't know until we try it, but I'm like, is having 13 in 1 stat still just completely overpowered?
Is it breaking the game?
Yeah, to the point where it's like we have a minimum. Do we also need a maximum?
I think it
limit
would-
to make more balanced characters.
I think it would mean... I mean, I did a few calculations, and with 13 dice, 13 is actually the most common. The way I've balanced the dice with 0, 1 and 2, the number of dice is actually the same as the most common roll you would get with that dice. So your most reliable roll in that situation would be 13. So yes, we've not come across many situations where a roll of 13 would not be completely OP, but at the same time, they'd be so useless at everything else. That would not be a fun character to play.
No, it certainly wouldn't be. I just wonder, like, if somebody went, I want like a super aggressive character, and I'm just going to solve all my problems by punching my way out of them. I'm just going to make like, a level 13 strength character, and I'm useless in other things, but I'm godlike with my hands, and I can just.
Pow, pow, pow.
But I think there
There's
would
no
be
problem I
plenty
can't.
of weaknesses for that character.
Okay, and this is where
because it's like they could be tricked easily. They'd have no sense of will. They'd know nothing and not be able to think. They would be constantly going last in any
battle
situation because
Yeah.
they would have one strategy roll.
Well, it's interesting because the way in which you've written your characters and the way you've divided them about, I think the highest stat that any of you have is a 7. Interestingly enough, and I think Ali, that's your deduction,
Yes, what was called intelligence.
and Lucy, that's your
My knowledge, yeah.
See, now that's interesting. Now you've all gone out of your way to try and make well-rounded characters,
But
whose-
with strengths and weaknesses,
whose stats are in keeping with the people you're playing as.
Yeah, but rules help control the fun.
I get no, but this is what I mean. I just wonder whether, like, if I'm coming up with characters for you to deal with, and they're NPCs, so they're not characters that anyone will ever say play as, but it's like for the sake of, say, like, I want you to face a person who is super intelligent. It's like if I just load that stat with intelligence, it's like.
But they're basically a brain in a jar.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So maybe I'm worrying unduly. I just don't want to
I think
break it.
it
by-
would probably be useful for us to come up against such a character and see if it breaks the game. Part of the process of designing anything is trying to find out how far you can push it before it falls apart.
bend it.
So yeah, I mean, we have all built pretty well-rounded characters that do have definite strengths and weaknesses, but nothing that's actually like an inhibition.
Okay.
Although, I've got like 1 charisma and 1 inspiration and 1 dexterity, so I'm a slow, ugly lump, basically.
Well, no, I mean, he's quite charming with his blue skin.
So, but that's real in a way. That's a way I can roleplay. I can roleplay being a slow, ugly lump.
People have flaws.
Yeah.
It's part of their character.
We're all individuals ultimately.
I'm not.
I get that reference. So, with that in mind, does everybody feel comfortable enough to
Yeah.
get going? Okay, so I guess as a brief recap, you, our crew, I guess could we all want to just quickly say our names and who we're playing as, perhaps?
I am Lucy, and I'm playing as Rituar, the ATAR scientist.
I'm Nick, and I'm playing as Capella, the Melodian lamp user.
And I'm Ali. I'm playing as Lynette, the feline human person.
You're the engineer.
As
I'm the
in,
engineer.
you're not a cat person, you're a cat person. You
Yeah.
like cats.
Yeah.
And you have a cat called
Jason.
who I seem to remember we got thrown in
I threw him
battle.
across-
Thrown at a slime monster, yeah.
And you're from a species who sort of they're paired with cats, aren't they?
Yes. He's my sole bonded cat pet.
So, and Jason in himself is he's not a magical cat.
No,
he is
he's
just a
just a
cat.
cat.
But the two of you have a psychic connection.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're, well, basically, and you are, of course, and for the benefit of our listeners, you are the crew of the Future Legend, which is an extraversal trading ship sailing the world between worlds, the space between stories, the Extraverse. In your journeys, you have responded to a SOS beacon from the downed Son of the Silent Age, which is a large shipping vessel, a pelican, if you will, known for its pronounced beak, which has crashed in a seemingly uninhabited world. Certainly
Grey, boring world.
grey, boring, potentially unmade, unfinished world, which you were led to believe was abiotic, had absolutely no life on it. So the three of you have entered the downed vessel, leaving the Future Legend kind of hovering in low orbit. Not quite that high, but, just in the sky.
Timber.
Captained by Timbar, who is a kind of plant elemental / captain of your ship, who has physically grown into the structure, the hull of your ship. So entering the vessel, you found a lot of dank, musty air. You found a lot of mucus. And you found the remnants of the crew, who have gone all kinds of slimy, zombie,
I don't like the slimes.
horrible, gross, plaguey creatures.
We found one in a tube.
You did find one in a tube, and you brutally smashed him against the wall,
Bam, that's how I roll.
and he died of shock. And you went to the bridge, hacked your way in. You are now wearing EVA suits, EVA suits, because you did not bring any of your own. But
Again, how we roll.
but you found some on the ship, so hopefully you are. Because are you all on the same page here? Do you get the impression the air is pretty?
I did not think the air was
infectious?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So making your way into the bridge, you found lots more mucus than before. The air was a lot damper, a lot thicker. And before, you were attacked by not only more zombies, but a group of floating psychic snot monsters that look like little fetuses, which appear to be made entirely out of mucus. You
It's also yummy.
were able to hack into the records of the ship, where we discovered that, it was a particularly unexciting, normal vessel sailing the Extraverse. They spent a bit of time, landed on a forested planet, stocked up on reserves, cooking some water and food, sailed off again, and then the crew started falling ill. And a lot of the crew began experiencing flu-like symptoms before falling into comas. And that was the last record we know. And the only other information you were able to glean was that there were 20 crew members aboard.
Yep.
18 humanic, so recognizable to you as people. One of whom was an automaton, was a robot.
That's right. Yeah.
And one of whom was the muscle of the crew, who was described as a hulking, oversized giant of a man from a species not known for intelligence, but known for incredible physical strength.
Can't wait to meet him.
I'm sure he's just dead.
It's gonna work out fine.
Find him.
And unless I'm very much mistaken, when I factor in the amount of people you have dispatched, or the amount of corpses you've seen, because you found a few corpses and the like, tallying it all up, there are 13 humans unaccounted for, plus the automaton and the brute.
Right.
So you
So
were,
we've killed 3.
and I think you killed.
Oh no.
No,
5.
yeah, I think I think you killed like 4 or 3, and you found a corpse who had already
Cool.
died.
Cool.
And it's great.
That was really cool,
It's
yeah.
lovely. And and then you are all attacked by these psychic blob monsters which float, which is a bit disconcerting. And Nick used, or Lynette Capella, I am paying attention, used the last of your wishes, because you are a lamp user. You're addicted to a very powerful reality-bending drug. And you let out a mighty pulse of energy, which not only ripped the mucus creatures in half, but also compromised the already weakened and rotting structure of the Son of the Silent Age, casting the three of you and Jason into a pit of darkness.
Yes.
So,
Yay.
just to, shut up and let you guys talk about stuff, did you want to compare notes, just, among yourselves and to the mics, about the current situation and what you think you're dealing with or facing?
Yeah, okay.
Well, you were the one who fell, Ali. You were the one who fell furthest and hardest, I think.
I hit my head. I have -8 life points now. Well, I have 8 life points.
Yeah.
I've taken 8 damage.
That was before the big fall, was it?
I think I took some fall damage as well.
Yeah.
Because I brought everyone into a bubble, didn't I, as we fell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
did we actually resolve the landing?
No, I don't think we did.
I don't
No.
think we did.
No.
No,
So I don't...
we were. Oh, that's right.
You were already pretty hard
That's
hit.
true.
If
Yeah.
you'd like to take more damage, you're more than welcome to.
In. Don't listen to him, just because it's his birthday.
Because I had you down, and correct me if this is different from what you've all got, I had each of your health as 16.
Originally, yes.
To begin with? Was
Yeah.
that all you had to begin with?
Yeah, that was our baseline.
Oh.
I'm currently on
Ali,
8.
Ali did take damage in the
Look
fight,
at me, I'm being very useless here.
but I'm still at maximum health.
I'm on 14.
Oh, wow. Well, actually, that's a
I think I
good
got-
point.
I think I got punched in the head by one of the zombies that was on my spear.
Okay, so Lucy, you are
I'm on 14.
14. Nick, you're on...
Currently full life, although I've just had a thought.
Oh.
Because this is the first time I've ever run out of wishes.
Yes.
I wonder if there should be an HP hit. for that.
Yes, we'll tell you what, we'll deal with that
Okay.
when you get to the bottom.
No worries.
And Ali, sorry, you were on
We're still
8.
falling.
So
We've
yes,
been falling
you
for
have
like 7
taken...
weeks.
Okay, so that would put you at half health. Which is rather hard to say with a slightly dry throat. I think you're probably getting into the territory of having some kind of physical detriment. So I'm going to say you're going to get a -1 on any of the physical.
Okay.
checks.
I only have 1 strength anyway, so I'm on 0 strength. I can just about stand.
Okay, so what do you have any thoughts about the nature of what's happened to this ship and the creatures that have been attacking you? Maybe it's obvious, but maybe just...
Clearly, they picked up... This world is abiotic, as far as we know. So they picked something up and took it with them. Improper...
What, they brought it from another world?
I think they've brought it from another world. I don't think it comes from here.
Okay.
And it was all contained inside the ship as well. There was no sign of it outside the ship. It was all inside the dome.
True.
I wonder whether I don't know if the blob monsters are what have taken control or whether they've just evolved from the crash. So if there was some bacteria on there, but I get the feeling that something perhaps took over the ship in order to crash here to form a new
I wonder if
planet.
the crash was accidental.
I really...
That's my thought. Because they didn't seem smart. Like, the zombies were not
No.
intelligent. And the maggot floaty zombie fetuses did not also seem that smart. Like, they had psychic attack powers, but they weren't that sturdy.
I guess...
Like, they weren't completed yet.
I guess one thing that came up was that somebody had rigged the heart of a ship, which controls atmospheric conditions, to set it to like 37 degrees and to increase moisture.
So either they
humidity.
had a traitor or there was some level of
Intelligence.
I wonder
intelligence
whether someone
controlling
wants
it.
to start and to give aliens a new...
What we
Oh,
don't...
that's fine. They can
something.
have it.
Yeah.
We'll leave.
Let's leave.
What we don't know, I suppose, is like when the mucus takes over a person, we've seen them at the end of their life when they're just a husk. But potentially in the earliest stages, they're actually still useful.
But it said in the ship's logs that they got ill and like flu-like symptoms, like they were incapacitated.
But if you were taken over and didn't know you were taken over, you might just say we're all feeling a bit ill. But in actual fact, you're doing what the mucus always wanted you to do.
Maybe,
I don't
yeah.
know.
And I guess like the last record you knew was that like 8 members of the crew, I think, had fallen into comas. But that's like the last log before the ship crashes.
Yeah, so
and
what if
there's
they wake up and do some stuff
Yeah.
before getting to the point that their bodies are useless.
Well,
I
then
don't
my
know.
question is, this mucusy stuff was clearly biological in some way.
Yeah.
How would it have completely taken over the ship if they had an automaton?
Yeah, unless priority 1 was stop the automaton. And he is in some way
That
held
that
back.
implies a lot more planning than I think we've seen.
That's very true. And so there may be a traitor.
Yeah. Unless he's he might be the traitor.
He did it all along. He's like David.
He's David.
He could be the traitor. That's an interesting idea.
Nick, I'm going to give you a -2 for referencing Prometheus.
-2 in every stat.
Everything. Yeah.
And that passes over into real life.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a -2 to your future job prospects, and I will need one of your fingers.
John, I deserve that. I accept it willingly. I need to learn.
Okay, but I think the more pressing problem is that we're falling into a great big dark hole.
Yes.
And we don't know where that's
Yeah.
going.
Okay, well, I guess as Nick pointed out, as the chasm opened, the last thing that happened was you leapt towards them and used the last of your energy to kind of extend a bubble around them, and then you plummeted into darkness. Okay, so if everyone's
Let's
Yeah.
do
ready,
it.
Up to speed.
okay, we're
Let's
gonna
dive in. Am I
get
right?
back into it. Okay.
That's troubling.
Who? What to start with? Ali. Lynette. You open your eyes after a brief period of unconsciousness. You immediately see, or feel, or sense that you are up to your chest in water. Thankfully, as you get your bearings, you are still wearing your EVA suit. You cannot sense Jason.
Okay.
Or rather, you, through your psychic connection, you can sense that he is alive and apparently okay. You cannot see or, tell if he's anywhere near.
Okay.
Mostly because it's very, very dark. So, you flex your fingers, your toes. You don't appear to have broken anything. It would seem the water has kind of cushioned your fall.
Ooh, soft water. Gotta love soft water.
But, you cannot see or make out much of anything.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
So am I the first to be conscious, I suppose? Well, I suppose I'd call out. Can anybody hear me?
Can we hear her?
You hear your voice echoing in what feels like a reasonably large chamber, but there is no response.
Okay. Well, I can make a lot of cups of tea with my tea set.
Do you have a torch or anything?
I don't. No, I have a utility belt, but that gives me a knife, a wrench, and a screwdriver.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to start kind of,
Retconning.
retconning it all.
Does
but
the Eva suit have a torch?
Yeah, I think we can reasonably say that there might be something in
In
your
the helmet or something?
Yeah.
Usually these sorts of suits do, don't they? They sort of illuminate what you're looking at.
Yeah.
The space suit does.
Okay. Well, I turn that on then. Turn on my head torch.
Okay. Casting the light around, you see that, yes, indeed, you are in a fairly large area. This is not a cargo hold of the ship, but due to the damage of the crash and the general rotting of the wood and, indeed, the incredible structural lack of integrity we've seen...
Because somebody shot a energy wave through the ground.
You are in a kind of underground cavern area now, which is a combination of kind of rock and the remnants of the lowest deck of the ship, and this was a triple deck.
Oh, right, so the
Yeah.
lowest level of the ship has fallen down through the earth.
Oh no, actually no. I mean, you are at the same level as the lower deck,
Oh, right.
but it's rather hard to tell now what's inside the ship and what's outside the ship.
I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah. And water, the lost water from the pool and the bridge, has gathered in the bottom of this area. So if you can imagine, you are, standing up. You are now up to your waist in this water. And there's kind of like, you are in a natural dip of like rock and bits of twisted, rotting wood. But you can see that a short distance away, there is the the remnants of the floor of the ship. So you would be able to haul yourself out of the water and be back in what might very well be a corridor.
Okay. I'd like to grab a piece of rotting wood and sort of use it as a flotation, just to support. I know it's only waist high, but I'm kind of weak from all my damage, so I'm sort of going to use it as a buoyancy aid and wade over to that sort of half corridor and try and haul myself out of the water.
I like it. Okay, so please take a deduction check.
Okay.
Which
I'm
is what?
7.
Well, oh, that was good.
So I'm
It's
hoping
all right for
I
some.
will deduce.
Oh, God.
Hey, that doesn't look too
Oh, I thought
bad.
that was
7.
7. Wow, that's pretty good.
I see everything.
Okay, casting your light about, you realise that, well, you instantly kind of glean that you are indeed now, I'm going to say that you reach the edge of the wood, and yes, this is what was once a corridor. It's kind of like, the nearest comparison I would make would be like a collapsed mine shaft. So you can see the wooden shape of what this corridor once was, kind of metal braces. And looking ahead, it looks fairly okay, but you've come through a bit which has been kind of obliterated by rock. So there's like rock on one side and, twisted wreckage on the other, barely recognisable as a ship. Most importantly, however, you see 2 familiar bodies
Oh, okay.
a short distance away,
Please be us.
floating in the water.
Okay.
Yes,
We've got masks on.
Of
It's
course.
fine, haven't we? We've got
I would
breathing
say
masks.
face down, but yes, indeed, you thankfully are wearing EVA suits. So yes, they are your 2
Okay.
crewmates.
In the water I just came out of.
Kind of like to the side, like you've waded towards them, and maybe what you thought, is that wood? Is that wreckage? No, there are bodies in there.
Okay. Right. I guess I'm going to jump back in and wade over and maybe use some of that wood and sort of prop people up and drag them.
Yeah, you are not in the best state to be
Back.
doing anything physical right now.
No.
I think.
Thankfully, the buoyancy will help.
Work wonders.
So, looking at them, you see that the 2 of them appear unconscious, as you would expect, because they didn't respond to your call. However, Lynette... No, who are you? Sorry, Capella. I'm having a bad day. Capella...
We should have stickers on our forehead.
Capella is in a bad way. And you can tell that this is not just the result of the fall. She has completely expended all her wishes. So she's essentially gone, she's passed out as a kind of withdrawal. Rutua looks in slightly better condition, however. Maybe it's just dazed from the impact, and you might be able to gently rouse
I have
him.
plenty of experience of falling a long way, so it's fine.
You came from a place you can only fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, your people have like 80,000 words for down.
Yeah.
This is not a good one. So yeah, if you'd like, you may kind of rouse Rutua.
Absolutely, yeah. Sort of gently shake you without you reflexing
I just
and
go
punching me in the face.
With your giant hands.
Yeah.
Okay, I am awake, I imagine.
Yes, no, no checks needed.
I hurt. This is bad. Don't want to be here. This is horrible.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, Rutua, Lucy,
Hello.
that you have not escaped unharmed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that you have taken a further 3 points of damage from the landing. But with your scientific know-how, you do not appear... You can tell that you haven't done serious damage.
A few sprains,
few
maybe.
sprains,
Yeah.
a few bruises. What do the 2 of you want to do?
Well, my first instinct after swearing quite a bit, and probably swearing at Capella a lot, even though she's unconscious, just because, why not? It's all her fault anyway. I would actually like to use my med kit on both myself and Lynette.
Thank you.
So I have 5 uses of my med kit.
Wonderful.
Enough kit for it's basic first aid, but it should hopefully stop you bleeding internally or something. I don't know.
Nice. Well, I think, yes, because you can see that, of course, Lynette is in a bad way. So, I think we'll take that down by 2 uses.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that each of you...
Would you like me to do a check for using it or anything? Or
Actually, that is very good. Yes, why not?
sorry, throwing in the. I'm not DMing. I'm not backseat DMing.
No,
DM.
This is good. This is an organic process for everyone. Could you please take a knowledge check?
Certainly.
In
Is this going to
using that.
determine how much
I know about.
Yeah,
and
no,
therefore
I.
how much it affects you. That's a really good idea. I like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow. Yeah.
Good one.
We gained 10.
I didn't add my science in because I thought that might be overkill.
So yeah, I'm going to say that each of you may regain 3 life points.